very politely, very humbly, she volunteered, and we are starting with one of my favorite books, The Third Eye. Masters, this is Third Eye book is a book by great spiritual master, Lobsang Rampa. And especially young children, you will enjoy this because this is a story of a 8-year-old or a 7-year-old boy. And you know, in Crystal Children Corner, you all have attended the class, Know Your Divinity. And here you will see what is divinity. This little boy, through his life journey, he'll show you what divinity is. Lavanya Madam, thank you very much for coming forward with such a short notice. I'm so thrilled to see you today here starting such a great book. Thank you very much. And young masters, I'm handing it over to Lavanya Madam. And at the end of the session, you all will have wonderful interacting session. So come forward, you know, express your views, ask questions, and make use of this opportunity. So thank you very much, Gangadhar Sir, Joshia, for hosting this session, and Lavanya Madam for taking it forward. Thank you, thank you. Thank you all masters. And masters, don't get disappointed. We are starting English session, but Telugu session also will very shortly follow. So enjoy this Third Eye session starting today. So I really humbly express my gratitude to Lobsang Rampa, who has been so instrumental in my spiritual development and my spiritual journey. Not only me, our children also have read so many books of Lobsang Rampa and has really influenced our lives as a family. So I hope you all have the great spiritual transformation as you go forward. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to Lavanya Madam.
Thank you, Saroja ma'am. So first, let me share my screen. So hello everyone. So welcome to CCC Book Club. As Saroja ma'am said, Lobsang Rampa, he's a very great meditator. So we are going to read one of his famous books called The Third Eye. So normally few questions pop up in our mind to know how great personalities' childhood was and their different stages in their life, how their spiritual journey began and took them to great heights. Were they different or were they same like us? Kind of questions. I think you might also have questions. So let's know about his life story by reading this book called The Third Eye. So I am very excited and this will be very interesting. So are you all ready, masters? So this is the book which we will be discussing. So I think you can all see this. Please give me thumbs up. Yeah, you can see this. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So the chapter 1. So early days at home. Oi, oi, 4 years old and can't stay on horse. You will never make a man. What will your noble father say? With this, old Zoo gave the pony and luckless rider a hearty thwack across the hindquarters and spat in the dust. So this 4 years old boy, he's none other than our Lobsang Rampa. So this is the 4-year-old boy who is sitting on a horse, but he's unable to maintain his stability on the horse. So the boy, the old Zoo, we will come to know about this. Who is this Zoo in this following sections? So let us see. So as of now, this 4-year-old boy is sitting on a horse who is not able to sit stably on the horse. So next, the golden roofs and domes of the Potala gleamed in the brilliant sunshine. Closer, the blue waters of the serpent temple lake rippled to mark the passing of the waterfowl. So here they are describing about the place, how this place is. They're setting up the story. Okay, this 4-year-old boy is sitting on a horse. Then, so where is he? Where is he sitting? Where is it? So now he's explaining about his surroundings. So he's seeing these golden roofs and the sunshine, and he's also seeing the blue waters in the temple where the waterfall birds, kind of birds, which are making the ripples in the water. So from farther along the stony track came the shouts and cries of men urging on the slow moving yaks just setting out from Lhasa. So few people are traveling in that way. So that is what the setting is. So from nearby came the chest shaking boom, boom, boom of the deep bass trumpets as monk musicians practiced in the fields away from the crowds. So this is what this sound, boom, boom, what is a sound? It's a trumpet sound where the few monk musicians, the musicians are also monks. We'll come to know about the monks later, yeah? But I had no time for such everyday commonplace things. Mine was a serious task of staying on my very reluctant pony. Nakim had other things in mind. He wanted to be free of his rider, free to graze and roll and kick his feet in the air. So this 4-year-old boy, he's telling, okay, this is what my surroundings are. It's so beautiful. It's so these things. People are enjoying, but I don't get this kind of enjoyment every day, because my task is to sit on that reluctant pony. I have to sit on that my horse. His pony name is Nakim. Nakim is his pony name. So what does his pony wants to do? He does not want anyone to ride. He just want to graze. That means to eat the grass and roll and kick his feet in the air because it's a pony. Now let's see who is Old Zoo. Old Zoo was a grim and forbidding taskmaster. All his life he had been stern and hard, and now as guardian and riding instructor to a small boy of 4, his patience often gave away under the strain. So see, this Old Zoo, he's very grim. He's a grim boy. Let me just one second, masters. He's grim. Grim means it's a ferocious. He's ferocious. Forbidding means he's very scary, frightening. He's a taskmaster. If you give some task, like you have to do, that's it. Like he is so kind of frightening. That is his personality. That is describing about the zoo. All his life he had been stern and hard. He's very strict. Now he is the guardian and riding instructor to this small 4-year-old boy. So let us see next. One of the men of calm. Calm means he is here, a group of a society where the author Lobsang Rampa would be discussing about here. He, with others, had been picked for a size and strength. Nearly 7 feet tall he was, and broad with it. So this Old Zoo, how was he? He is 7 feet tall and with broad shoulders. Heavily padded shoulders increased his apparent breadth. See, in movies, you can see the kings and everyone, they'll be wearing some kind of attire where they look very huge, bulky, right? With this kind of shoulders, that their arms, armor and those things. So that is how this person used to have this padded version. Means they would have this kind of clothing so that they can look little more broader. So in Eastern Tibet, there is a district where the men are unusually tall and strong. So they're very tall in this Eastern Tibet. That is a place where the men are normally too tall and too strong. Many were over 7 feet tall, and these men were picked to act as police monks in all the Lama series. So these people who are very tall and broad, they are picked to be as the police monks. They padded their shoulders to increase their apparent size, blackened their faces to look more fierce, and carried long staves which they were prompt to use on any luckless malefactor. So these people, they are like polices. So they want, because of their size and breadth and the tall of the physicality, and they have this blackened their faces, means dusty. It's not very clean, because if the face is so dirty and dusty, they look very more ferocious. And they used to carry a long stave. Stave means a wooden, a kind of wood, which they were prompt to use on any luckless malefactor. Means they used to beat if someone do something wrong, outbreaking the law. So that is where they used to handle it. Okay, this is about Zhu. Zhu had been, so let us see, so Zhu had been a police monk, but now he was dry nurse to a princeling. So Zhu, earlier he used to be a police monk, but now he is a nanny kind to this 4-year-old boy. He was too badly crippled to do much walking, and so all his journeys were made on horseback. So this Zhu, he is crippled, means he has some physical disability where he can't walk very well. So that's the reason he used to, most of his journeys were made on the horses. Why? Let's see why he has got this physical disability. In 1904, the British under Colonel Young Husband invaded Tibet and caused much damage. Apparently, they thought the easiest method of ensuring our friendship was to shell our buildings and kill our people. So in 1904, the British under Colonel Young Husband, so they invaded, means they attacked Tibet, and so they thought like, okay, we will take all their buildings and kill the people. So Zhu had been one of the defenders. Defenders means he was a protector. Zhu was a protector, one of the protector, or a god. And in the action, he had part of his left hip blown away. So during this attack, so he has lost, he has got the physical disability in his left hip. So that's the reason he is now crippled. So my father was one of the leading men in the Tibetan government. So now it's till this now. So we know who Zhu is now. Zhu is a person like a nanny or a caretaker of this 4-year-old boy, and he's from police monk. So that's how he is. His personality is described. Now let us see about his father, the 4-year-old boy father. My father was one of the leading men in the Tibetan government. His family and that of mother came within the upper 10 families. And so between them, my parents had considerably influence in the affairs of the country. Later, I'll give more details of a form of government. So he's telling about his family, that they are in the upper high 10 families. So they had much influence in their politics. Like politics means in terms of government formation, those kind of thing, to take any kind of act. So they had this influence in the government. That's what he's saying. Now, how his father is, let us see. Father was a large man, bulky, and nearly 6 feet tall. He's 6 feet tall, and he's also bulky. His strength was something to boast about. He's telling like, now I have to tell about my father. He's not, you can't just ignore him. So he has a great personality as well. Let me tell about it. In his youth, he could lift a pony off the ground. You know, masters, he could take the pony, you know, pony, the baby horse, like he could take the pony off the ground. And he was one of the few who could wrestle with a man of calm and come off best. So he can easily wrestle you with a calm man miss. We just taught, read that like the people, the men in the calm, they are 7 feet tall. So his father was able to defeat those 7 feet men as well. So the most Tibetans have black hair and dark brown eyes. Father was one of the exceptions. His hair was chestnut brown and his eyes were gray. Often he would give way to sudden burst of anger for no reason that we could see. So suddenly his dad sometimes used to shout out with anger without any reason. That's what he's saying here. We did not see a great deal of father. Tibet had been having trouble sometimes. The British had invaded us in 1904 and the Dalai Lama had fled to Mongolia, leaving my father and others of the cabinet to rule in his absence. So what are they saying here? They're saying that his father was one of the had influence in the government, right? So Dalai Lama, he is the head monk over there. So Dalai Lama, during this attack, when the British attacked Tibet, so Dalai Lama, the head monk, has fled to Mongolia. So when during the absence of a prime minister, so suppose if you think in our country, if the prime minister is not there, then the other people in the government, they will take the authority and they will lead the government until the prime minister is back. That's how here the prime minister is kind of, we can assume like a Dalai Lama is the prime minister. I'm just telling you so that you can understand, masters. And the others are like his father, the 4-year-old father, kid's father is also in the cabinet. Okay. So in 1909, Dalai Lama returned to Lhasa after having been to Peking. Peking is in China. So in 1909, Dalai Lama returned again to Lhasa. Okay. In 1910, what happened? Again, see, the Chinese, encouraged by the success of the British invasion, stormed Lhasa again now. This time, after the British, now the Chinese attacked the Tibet again. So this time what happened? The Dalai Lama again retreated, this time to India. So the Dalai Lama, like it's like who is the prime minister, he went back to, he went to India so that he can be safe. The Chinese were driven from Lhasa in 1911 during the time of Chinese Revolution, but not before they had committed fearful crimes against our people. So till 1911, the Chinese were there, but Chinese had created a lot of trouble to their people. There were a lot of crimes which has happened during that particular year, duration of the years. In 1912, Dalai Lama returned again to Lhasa. During the whole time, he was absent. In those most difficulty days, father and others of the cabinet had the full responsibility of ruling Tibet. Mother used to say that father's temper was never the same after. So as his father had a key role in the government, so his father was always used to be in the tense mode, masters. So sometimes we also see our fathers having temper, you know, so you could correlate to that, right? So that's how his mother is saying like, you know, your father's temper was never the same after this kind of political responsibilities. Certainly, he had no time for us children, and we at no time had fatherly affection from him. So because of this, it has affected his family as well. So the children could not get the affection from his father, and I in particular seemed to arouse his ire, and I was left to the scant mercies of zoo to make or break, as father said. So he's saying that, so he did not get the affection from the father. So who is his caretaker now? Zoo is his caretaker. But how is Zoo? He's very strict. He's very ferocious. And so now he is with no one else to take care. Zoo only has to take care. So what his father said, you make him better or you break him. That is what his father said. So my poor performance on a pony was taken as a personal insult by Zoo. So this guy, he's still 4 years old boy. He can, and we think here that he's a very old, but they are thinking he's a very old boy. 4 years, he's a big boy. They are thinking. So in Tibet, small boys of the upper class are taught to ride almost before they can walk. Skill on a horse is essential in a country where there is no wheeled traffic, where all journeys have to be done on foot or on horseback. So here, they're telling why riding a horse or learning a horse is essential means because there were no vehicles that time. So everywhere, if they want to go from one place to other place, they have to take horses. So that's the reason riding the horse is very important. So they have to get trained onto it. Tibetan nobles practice horsemanship hour after hour, day after day. They can stand on the narrow wooden saddle of a galloping horse and shoot first with a rifle at a moving target and then change to bow and arrow. So these are all training kind of trainings, how the training would be in the horse. Not only riding the horse is the thing, they can also, while riding a horse, they can shoot a target, or they can also use bow and arrow. So that while riding the horse, they have to stand up and do all these things. This is all a part of their training. That's the this 4-year-old boy is narrating now for us. Okay. Now, sometimes the skilled riders will gallop across the plains in formation and change horses by jumping from saddle to saddle. I, at 4 years of age, found it difficult to stay in one saddle. So he's telling like, people are doing so many things, but for me, I'm feeling very difficult. I can't stay on one horse. I don't know how people move from one horse to other horse, do this, stand up on the horse and shoot the different targets. I don't know how they do this. I feel it's very difficult. And now let's see how it goes. My pony, Nakim, was shaggy and had a long tail. So his pony was named as Nakim, and he was shaggy. Shaggy means it's full of hair and he had a long tail. So I think it would be very beautiful, masters. I think his pony is, let's see, his narrow head was intelligent. So he's telling, my pony is very intelligent. He knew an astonishing number of ways in which to unseat an unsure rider. He's telling, my pony is very intelligent, that he knows how to unseat an unsure rider. A favorite trick of his was to have a short run forward. He will run and then stop dead and lower his head. As I slid help, so he will be sitting on the pony here. Suppose you think the pony would run and he will drop his head like this. Slowly he will lower his head. So the person who is sitting here, because he's 4-year-old boy, so he could not have that grip. So he will slowly slide down onto the head. Okay. So as I slid helplessly forward over his neck and onto his head, he would raise. Suddenly, what would the pony do? Once he drops here, he would raise like this with a jerk, suddenly. So that I turned a complete somersault before hitting the ground. So that the kid who is here, he will jump and bounce like so that his heels are over his head. So that's what he's saying. And then he would stand and look at me with smug complacency. He would say, see what I can do for you. That's how the horse would be looking at him. That's what the boy is saying here. Tibetans never ride a trot. The ponies are small and riders look ridiculous on a trotting pony. Most times a gentle amble is fast enough with the gallop kept for exercise. They are saying like in Tibet, we don't go very fast on ponies. So Tibet was a now let us see what is he's telling about now about his country. Tibet was a theocratic country. We had no desire for the progress of the outside world. We wanted only to be able to meditate and to overcome the limitations of the flesh. Our wise men had long realized that the West had coveted the riches of Tibet and knew that when the foreigners came in, peace went out. So he's telling, so in Tibet, it's a very great country. So they don't look for what they're getting from the outside world. They want to do more and more meditation and to overcome the limitations of this physical body. We are not only physical body. That's what you learn in the CCC Crystal Child Corner, right? That is what this book is saying as well. Our wise men had long realized that West had coveted the riches of Tibet. So all these people who has come for the invasion, they all took this riches of Tibet and knew that when the foreigners came in, peace went out. So when all these invasions happened, means that when the attack happened, their peace slowly started disappearing. Now the arrival of the communists in Tibet had proved that to be correct. My home was in Lhasa, in the fashionable district of Linkor. He's telling. So where was his home? His home is in Lhasa, at the side of the ring road, which goes all around Lhasa and in the shadow of the peak. There are 3 circles of road, and the outer road, link road, is much used by pilgrims. So he's telling there are 3 roads in my district, and 1 road is used for these travelers who goes for the religious works. Like all houses in Lhasa, at the time I was born, ours was 2 stories high at the side facing the road. He's telling my house is, it was a 2-story house. No one must look down at the Dalai Lama, so the limit is 2 stories. As the height band really applies only to 1 possession a year, many houses have an easily dismantled wooden structure on their flat roofs for 11 months or so. So what is he saying? So he's saying my house is 2 stories, but what is the rule here? That no house should be taller than what Dalai Lama's when during the procession it says so there is a procession, it seems, where Dalai Lama would be going that time. So the procession should not go. The 2-story building height is a limitation. So that is why they have kept the limitation as 2-story. Our house was of stone and had been built for many years. It was in the form of a hollow square with a large internal courtyard. So now he's explaining how his house is. So it was built long back with a hollow square. His house is in square shape, and it has an internal courtyard. Internal courtyard inside the house, where there'll be some gap where in olden days, the house where they can see the sky. So that is how they used to build in the courtyard. Our animals used to live on the ground floor, and we lived in upstairs. So it's all in the ground floor. Animals were there, and where did they live? They live in the upstairs. We were fortunate in having a flight of stone step leading from the ground. So he's telling, like in a pride way, he's telling that we used to have stone steps. They can go on steps, because now if we have staircase in all the houses, if we have to climb from one floor to other floor. But in Tibet, it was not usual. We were fortunate in having, he's telling it's a fortunate to have the staircase. What would other people do? See, most Tibetan houses have a ladder. They used to have a ladder, or in the peasants' cottages, a notched pole, which one uses the dire wrist to one's shins. So otherwise, some people used to hold the pole and run and then climb. I think you can see in some movies, masters. So that is how, like, they have to use the pole to climb to their to the higher stairs, floors. Sorry. These notched poles became very slippery indeed with use. Hands covered with yak butter transferred it to the pole, and the peasant who forgot made a rapid descent to the floor below. So it's all about this pole, how they used to, he's saying like, I think you can understand this. If there is any slippery, they used to fall down from this pole because if the hands are greased, that's what he's saying. So now let us say, in 1910, during the Chinese invasion, our house had been partly wrecked and the inner wall of the building was demolished. Father had it rebuilt 4 stories high. It did not overlook the ring, and we could not look over the head of the Dalai Lama. So he's telling like during there was Chinese attack, so their house was wrecked, means the house was damaged as well. But then they rebuilt as a 4-story, but still there it did not overlook the ring. There was some ring, it seems, so where no one should overlook from, like no one should be ahead on the top of the Dalai Lama. So everyone should be looking down from the Dalai Lama's that particular ring. So the gate which gave entrance to our central court, now is again coming back to his house. So he's telling the gate which, how he's describing about his house. The gate which gave entrance to our central courtyard was heavy and black with age. So the Chinese invaders had not been able to force its solid wooden beams, so they had broken down a wall instead. Just above this entrance was the office of the steward. So he's telling like when Chinese people attacked the house, so they were not able to break one of the wall. So just above the entrance, one of the, so he said that then just above this entrance was the office of the steward. Steward means like if it is a big house or big family, they have hired a person, suppose think like that, hired a person to maintain that, who will come to their house, who will go, those kind of things. They would that person will be employed for those to look after that. He could see all who entered or left. He engaged and dismissed staff and saw that household was run efficiently. Okay. Here at his window, as the sunset trumpets blared from monasteries, came the beggars of Lhasa to receive a meal to sustain them through the darkness of the night. So now he's telling like, so from his windows, he could see the sunset, and also he could also listen the trumpet sound. So when this trumpet sound comes in the evening, what happens is they will give a free meal for everyone, for the poor people, and also many poor, that's what they're saying, they give food for the poor people so they can survive in that cold nights during the night. All the leading nobles made provision for the poor of the district. So who will give this food? Like people who are rich, they would give their provisions so that the poor can get the food. Often chained convicts would come, for there are few prisons in Tibet, and the convicted wandered the streets and begged for their food. So convicts means like people who has done something wrong, kind of people, they're called as convicts here. So they would come for begging the food as well during that particular time. In Tibet, convicts are not scorned or looked upon as pariahs. Means they are telling like people who has done wrong, like criminals or anyone, they are not abused or they are not rejected as in our society as we are seeing now, because we realize that most of us would be convicts. If we were found out, they're telling like everyone we say is no one can say that I have not done wrong in my life. No one can say that. Like if you are found out, that is how they have become the thief. I mean, everyone is if everyone would have done something wrong, so we don't treat the convicts as abused or rejected. We also treat them reasonably. So Those who were unfortunate were treated reasonably. 2 monks lived in rooms to the right of the steward. Now again, he is coming back to his house. Now he said, like, when there is a gate at his house, and and downstairs animals would be living. On the top, the first room, he has explained that a steward means the person who would maintain the house, like a person who is employed. So he will be there. So 2 monks lived in the rooms to the right of the steward. So the place, that line kind of like that admin guy. Apart from that, there will be 2 people next. 2 monks lived in the right of the right or of the steward rooms. There were the household priests who prayed daily for divine approval of our activities. He's telling, like, okay, these monks, they will pray for us, for the good, for the family. The lesser nobles had 1 priest, but opposition demanded 2. Before any event of note, these priests were consulted and asked to offer prayers for the favor of the gods. So they're telling, like, these priests, they used to pray for the god. That's why we used to have them. Every 3 years, the priests returned to the Lama series and were replaced by others. So after 3 years, the priests would go to their lama, and then they'll be replaced. In each wing of our house, there was a chapel. Chapel means where we can worship. Always the butter lamps were kept burning before the carved wooden altar. So in the 7 bowls of holy water were cleaned and replenished several times a day. They had to be clean, as the gods might want to come and drink from them. The priests were fed, eating the same food as the family, so they could pray better and tell the gods that our food was good. So this is how they're telling, like, how their worship place was, and how they used to treat the priests over there. I think the time is 8:40. Sorry, Eastern, it's Australian time. I think we'll stop here, masters, and we'll take the questions. So as of now, we're discussing about his house. So we'll stop here, and from then we will we'll continue this tomorrow. So now, so let us now interact about your feedback, or like, okay, now come on, children, masters, let me know what you have understand from this so far. And if you have not understand anything, let me know so that I can explain it if you want.
Okay, little masters. Hope you enjoyed the book reading. If you want to talk, if you want to explain, if you want to interact, you can raise your hands and we will put you on spotlight, okay? Please raise your hands.
Okay, in the meantime, so tell me, how old is the kid? How old is the kid? Who is, how old is the kid who we are talking in this book? And what is the kid name? I mean, who are we thinking that kid is? Put your answers in the chat, let's see, or you can unmute yourself. Yes, Gautam, yeah, you can unmute yourself.
I think the boy is about 4 years old.
Yes, very good.
And his name was, I forgot, I couldn't remember.
That's okay. He would, I mean, we still did not come to his name, but he would be we are talking about the Lobsang Rampa, his childhood. So he will be the child, the Lobsang Rampa. He is the child, 4 years old. Well done. Great, Gautam. Okay.
Lavanya madam, can you stop
Yes.
the screen share?
Yes, sir. Yes. So now let me ask. So what is What is the pony? What is the pony name? Can anyone remember? What is his pony name? 4-year-old kid's pony name. What is the pony name?
I think it was Nakil.
Nakeem. Yes. Well done. Well done. Well done, Tanisha. So tell me, so is it well, so this 4-year-old boy, was he able to sit on his pony? Was he able to ride properly, nicely? Was he able to ride his horse pony nicely?
No,
Or did he had a
he
trouble?
couldn't. He couldn't. He was in trouble
Is it? Why?
because he couldn't sit on the pony.
Who is
it?
this?
Yeah, I can't see.
Children, if you want to talk, you raise your hands, then we will know who is talking, okay? Great participation by all the children. Well done, children.
So where is this place? Where is this happening? Which country is it? Are we talking about here? Which country is it? You can unmute yourself. Sir, you're going to unmute, or can they unmute themselves?
Yeah, Mukund, you raised your hand previously. You can unmute and yeah, you can unmute, Mukund.
Okay.
Is it Tibet?
Yes, it is Tibet, Mukund. Well done. So the next thing, so did this 4-year-old boy had any kind of nanny, or he was alone, or he has only father and mother, or did he had any nanny? If so, can you tell me any one of them? What was there? Did he had a nanny or no? If he had a nanny, what is his name? Yes, I see Gautam's hand. Anyone else?
I think it's Zoo.
Yes, that's true. Great. You have put a great efforts, Gautam. I could see that. Thank you. You're answering many questions. So the next question, so I think someone else should answer. So what questions can I ask now? Okay, the horse, his pony, who is this Nakeem, was he happy to ride, or to have a rider on him and ride, or he did not want anyone to ride? He want to play. The Nakeem, the pony, wants to play by himself, or like, is he happy if someone rides him? Yes, yes, Master, go ahead.
The pony did not like to ride on anyone on him
Yes, why do you think that?
because the pony wanted to play on him.
Yes, even we do the same thing, right? We like
Yes,
to play, correct? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, great answer. So now coming to his nanny. So his nanny Zoo? Was he loving, very affectionate, or was he strict, ferocious? What was he? Anyone? Was his nanny? Okay. I see Gautam. Apart from that,
Mukund.
apart from Mukund,
Someone
anyone?
that already hasn't had a turn.
Yes, come on, Joshua. Sorry. Is it Joshua? Who was it?
Josha want to answer. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
No. Question. Though wasn't that caring.
Can you repeat the question, Lavanya? She's telling.
It's like I'm asking if Zoo, his nanny,
Mm.
was he affectionate, loving, or was he strict, ferocious, anger? How was he?
He was strict, ferocious, and anger.
Good job, Joshua. Good. So in Tibet, so people used to concentrate more on what? Were they concentrating more on the outside thing, or were they concentrating on their within themselves, means doing more meditation? How is Tibet? Can you anyone of tell me? Like, how is the concentration towards outside of the world, or like they wanted to go inwards? What is your answer?
We know Gautam is ready, but we want other children to participate.
Yes.
Come on,
Anyone else?
children.
Yes, who have not answered, I want you to raise your hands. I think it's very easy thing.
Yeah.
Come on, children. Come on, it's okay. If it is whatever you feel, you just say it. That's it.
Samyukta, you want to answer, Samyukta? Can unmute.
I think they were more like for like the outside world. They focus more on the outside world.
You're slightly correct, but yeah, they were going, they were in Tibet. They used to go towards they have a more it's not towards the outside world, it's towards the inside. Towards the meditation. They want to do meditation to know that we are not this physical body. So this is what they want to learn. Yeah, it's like we normally have, in our worlds, it's like normal to have this outside worlds. We get happy when we get things and those things, but their world is not like that. Their world to concentrate more within themselves. Yeah, thank you for stepping forward and answering.
Thank you, Samyukta. Maybe we should hear from Gautam as well. He's very interested to tell. Let's see.
Yes, Gautam, go ahead and answer.
Yes, Gautam, are you able to?
I think I'm thinking of something else. Why Zeus is a little tempered and strict. Sometimes pain can cause your emotions to rise and do something that you're not expecting to. That's why Zeus might be angry, strict, and cross.
Yes, you are 100% right. Yes, so because being a Crystal Children Corner, I can see the way you are explaining it. So well done, Gautam.
Well done, Gautam. You are a champion.
It's a very good experience.
Madam, I think we should ask synopsis of today's session. If any child want to explain what they understood from today's session.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Well, Lavanya, I just wanted to say just a couple of words.
Yes,
That's all right with you guys, yeah? Yeah, so children, one of the things that I wanted to mention, you heard this beautiful story today through Lavanya madam. One most important thing that you have to remember is the setting. As you all know, this is in Tibet. What is the main thing about Tibet? Why are we reading this story? This is just not about Lobsang Rampa alone, but it is the whole setting of Tibet. Tibet is and always used to be one of the most spiritual countries along with India. Later, they all got divided, but they were all part of the bigger India. And then Tibet got separated. So very highly spiritual people. That's why Lavanya madam said, were they thinking about inwards or outwards? In Crystal Children Corner Academy, know your divinity, isn't it? Knowing about you. That is what these Tibet people used to do. knowing themselves was most important than having any kind of money or pleasure or any external things. So, and also you have to remember another thing. What was the time, the story setting? Very important. It is not yesterday, day before yesterday story, 100 years old story. When Lavanya madam is reading this story, you all should see like a flashback. You know, in the movie, you see that round circle. Close your eyes and listen to the story. It will go so beautifully. 100 years old, 100 years back. It's not today's Tibet. It's 100 years ago Tibet. And this is a young child who was born at that time. And very important, because later when Lavanya madam will take you through the later stages, now Tibet is different. It is totally under Chinese control. Spirituality cannot be talked about anywhere. Different setting now. I'm not saying good or bad, but now you will see only Chinese everywhere in Tibet. But this is a time where we have not seen what that time is. And Lobsang Rampa is telling through his story. And don't forget, children, Dalai Lama. You hear the word Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama is not one person. It is a title. Like, you know, we have Shankaracharya in India. I don't know if you people know. This is like a title. After that, another Dalai Lama comes, another Dalai Lama comes. It's a title. This book shows you how Dalai Lama is chosen. It is such a beautiful book that tells you the whole process of how Dalai Lama is chosen. And when Lavanya madam is telling story, it's not just a story, it's a real count. This happened. So this is a child's real story, his autobiography. And as he tells his story, you'll come to know about Tibet as well. So I get so excited because when I was reading the book, you know, the place where this whole thing happened is called Potala, and it's a small town. And visualize how Potala was, how it was hilly, and how they were going on ponies. We don't see that. Can we see that in Melbourne? Can we see that in Sydney, Hyderabad? No. So enjoy with Lavanya madam when she takes you to the scene. Visualize that little boy on the pony back. So masters, I just wanted to tell you this is a visualization technique to live the life of Dalai Lama, Lobsang Rampa along with him. If he's riding a pony, you also can ride a pony along, because such beautiful description of going up and down on those hills. You will enjoy this book reading if you go into the character of Lobsang Rampa. Thank you, Lavanya madam. I just wanted to make sure these children understood that they were talking about 100 years ago of a country where spirituality was topmost, and the kind of training children had in spirituality, you can't imagine. So Lavanya madam will take you through all the training and beautiful stuff in the next few days. Thank you, Lavanya madam. I enjoyed thoroughly along with the children this beautiful, beautiful storytelling. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to share this with you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am,
Thank you.
for your insights. So it's 8:59. So can we end the session, or like, do you want to take any questions?
Madam, yeah, I think we can end the session.
Okay, sir. Please. Yes, sir. Thank you, masters. Thank you for joining today. So tomorrow we will meet again at the same time. So please do come and join, and we can, as Saroja ma'am said, we can visualize and go through the Lobsang Rampa's childhood. So let us travel along with him. So please do come and join. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, masters. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Lavanya madam. Thank you. That's such a great storytelling. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Thank you.